Greetings, everybody. Something I wanted to speak about today, something I've been working on and just kind of thinking to myself, what would be the word that would align all of the points that I wanted to make today, all of it together. And that word was power. The hidden power behind you, and by you I mean our mothers. Starting with the introductory portion, I wanted to say that there's a kind of power that doesn't necessarily make any noise, or it doesn't walk into a room expecting some kind of applaud, or it doesn't ask for attention on their social medias or beg for any kind of credit, but it's there. It's there in those hands that have packed your school lunches even when they were tired. It was there in the voice that prayed over you when you didn't even believe in prayer. It's in the sacrifices that we didn't notice until we were grown, or until it was too late to say thank you. And that power, it's not just a mother's role. It's a reflection of God's love himself. If we read in Isaiah 66:13, it says, "As a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you." See, that's the heart of God revealed through our mother's comforting arms. So today isn't just about giving flowers or handing over a card to our mothers. It's about recognizing that kind of love that carried us here today. If we read Exodus 2, 1 through 10, it reads, "Now a man of the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. When she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile, his sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. When Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank, she saw the basket among the reeds and sent her female slave to get it. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. This was one of the Hebrew babies," she said. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," she answered. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, she took him back to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." Now slow down for a minute here and really feel the story about Moses and his mother. See, the backdrop of Exodus 2 isn't just historical, but it's also heartbreaking. See, we got Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. He was paranoid. He sees the Hebrew people as a threat because they were multiplying, they were growing stronger, and he feels that they might rise up. So what does he do? He issued a royal decree: every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile. Now, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that situation that you're in, especially as a mother? Can you imagine living in a society where just the gender of your newborn child made them a target for death? And now enters a woman, a mother, named Jochebed. See, the Bible, it doesn't give her a microphone. It doesn't quote her speeches, but her actions that she took, they shout louder than any words. So she gives birth to a baby boy. And at the moment, she knows that the law says that he should die. But in her heart, she knew that this child was special. The second verse of Exodus 2 says, when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. How's that possible? Can you imagine? I know we have a lot of new mothers here that have young ones. Can you imagine hiding your baby for 3 months? The agony, the fear that she must have felt. That couldn't have been easy for her. Thinking about the fear that she lived on at every single knock on the door that she received. Or the cry that somebody might have heard or as a soldier was walking by. She didn't have what we have here now. Now we have our insulated houses. You don't hear a lot. They didn't have any kind of security systems that you could see someone walk into your house. No. But one thing she did have courage. That's what she had, is courage rooted in love. And when she couldn't hide him anymore, she didn't panic. Now, I'm sure she was very worried and she was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? He's getting bigger. So she prepared. She made him a basket. She covered it with tar and pitch. Actually, the same material that was used for Noah's Ark. She was building an ark for her son, one that would float him into God's plan. And she placed him in the basket, and then she let go. Can we be honest? That letting go is one of the hardest things that a love will ever ask of us. There's many examples to how hard that could be. I know that we have a lot of people that moved here from different countries where families still stayed there. Or when your children finally grew up and they're like, hey, we're going to move to a different state. It's hard. It's difficult. And in many cases, it's heartbreaking. But she did it. Not just because she stopped caring, but because she knew her arms weren't enough, but God's arms were. But here's the miracle. That the little basket floats straight to Pharaoh's daughter. Yes, the daughter of the very man that is trying to kill all the Hebrew boys. She becomes the one to rescue and to raise Moses. So don't tell me that God isn't strategic, or don't tell me that he doesn't honor the prayers of a mother. And don't tell me that the silence sacrifices go unnoticed. See, Jochebed, she raised a deliverer. Her son would one day part the seas, confront Keds, and lead a nation out of slavery. But before all of that, before all those amazing things that he did, that God put him to do, he was just a baby floating on the prayers of a mother who trusted God. And that's the power behind you. That's the power behind our mothers. Now, you may not have seen it happen when it happened. You may not have known your Jochebed, but someone somewhere covered you up with prayers, hid you in their arms, and gave you up to God. Now, let's be real. Growing up, we don't always understand what our moms are doing. We just saw rules, the disciplines, and knows that we didn't like. Perfect example of a young boy. Every time mom says no's, he is dramatic. He drops his arms, raises his head, and walks away because mom said no. But there's reasons to it. There's reasons why the no's are important. But can we talk about what we didn't see? We didn't see our mother skipping dinner just so we could eat. We didn't see her holding back her sorrow, her tears, just so we wouldn't worry. We didn't see her putting her dreams on pause just so we could run after ours. And often I Actually, just as recently as I was writing the sermon, I thought to myself, I've never asked my mom what her dreams were. Proverbs 31:28 says, her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. See, that verse isn't just poetry, it's a command, and we are called to recognize and honor that love. And as we continue on Romans 5:8, it says, but God demonstrates his love for us in this: while we are still sinners, Christ died for us. So God's love is sacrificial. And a mother's love, does that not mirror that? Is that not the same? And I think about what Paul writes to Timothy in 2 Timothy 1:5. He says, I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded he lives in you also. See, there's a generational faith that doesn't start in the spotlight. It doesn't start somewhere up on the mountain. No, it starts in those places where our mothers are usually at, whether it's in the kitchen or it's in the back room standing on your knees praying for her family in tears. Faith that's passed down not just through sermons, but through everyday sacrifices that they make. And you might not have understood it when you were younger, but looking back, you start to realize that she gave up her comfort for your calling. She gave up her rest for your growth. And she gave up a lot of her time for your future. And that's not weakness. That is called holy strength. A couple of days ago, I was reading over the sermon and preparing, and I decided to, you know what, I'm gonna send a message to my mom, because I've come to realize how much pain I caused her and how much troubles I must have caused her, that's for sure. And so as I was writing it, I was writing out a long message saying, I know I did this, I know I said this, and I'm sorry, and I love you. You are amazing, you're beautiful, and I was just kind of opening up to her, and I don't know why until now it took me to realize so much about it as I was writing that. You know what her reaction was? Say in Russian. She's like, "Что с тобой?" Like, what's wrong with you? And then when she said that to me, I was just like, it just made me realize how much times I should have said stuff like that more to her. How much more appreciated. And I understand mothers are not perfect. They are humans as well. But yet, those things that we don't usually recognize every single time is very underrated. Because mothers, they are the power in our life. If we turn to John 19:25 through 27. Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother's sister. And on 26th, it says, when Jesus saw his mother there and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, woman, here is your son. And to the disciple, here is your mother. Now let's go to the cross. The most brutal, the most shameful, the most painful form of execution in the Roman world. Jesus is hanging there bleeding. He is suffocating. He is dying. Who's at his feet? Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother. Now let's sit with that for a moment. You got his mother, Mary, is watching her son suffer. The same hands that held her in her arms, those same hands are now nailed to wood. The same voice that called out her, that once called her mama, is now crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me? She was there for his first steps. She was there when he fell and scraped his knees. She was there when he performed his first miracle. And now she's there when he breathes his last. She couldn't stop the pain. She couldn't change the outcome, but she showed up. And sometimes the most powerful thing that a mother can do is simply just be there. And in the middle of his agony, Jesus looks down and sees her. When Jesus saw his mother there and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, woman, here's your son. And to the disciple, here's your mother. Now, Jesus wasn't just making practical arrangements. This was a moment of honor, a moment of love, a moment where the Son of God made sure that his mother that was with him throughout his life was cared for, even as he was dying to care for the whole world. You want to see what a godly man looks like? Look at Jesus honoring his mother in his final breath. He didn't forget her. He didn't say, I've got bigger things to do. No. He stopped to make sure that she was not left alone. And if Jesus could do that from the cross, then what's stopping us from doing that across the dinner table? From the living room? It's the 21st century. What's stopping us from giving our mom a call and text just throughout the day, just when she doesn't expect it? Let's honor those, the ones that stood by us. Let's see them. Let's love them now. And let me speak plainly, that one day, that chair at the table will be empty. The phone calls will stop. The perfume scent in the hallway will fade. You'll find yourself wishing, I wish I had just one more moment to say thank you, to say I'm sorry, and to say I see it now. I didn't before, but I do now. And the truth is, there is still that chance. If your mom is still here with us, it doesn't matter how much disagreements you may have. Reach out. Give the hug. Send the flowers. Tell her that it means a lot to you, that she means a lot to you, not because it's just Mother's Day, but it's just because it's the right thing to do. In Deuteronomy 5:16 says, we know this commandment very well, is honor your father and your mother as the Lord your God commanded you, so that you may live and that it may go well with you. You see, this commandment, it comes with a promise. You want things to go well with you, start honoring those that raised you. And if your mom has passed on, you're not forgotten. God sees your grief. David writes in Psalm 34, it says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So how can we honor our mother that is not with us? We can honor her by living out what she poured into us, by walking in the faith she modeled, by speaking the prayers that she used to whisper over you. You honor by loving your own family the way she loved you, by keeping her memory alive, not just in pictures, but in practice. And let God use your life as a continuation of hers. If your mother is here, just give her a call. Don't wait. If she's in this room, hug her. Hug her today. If there's a distance, close it with a message, a letter, or a visit, or even a prayer. If your relationship is broken, be brave enough to begin the work of healing. Because the power that raised you, the love that carried you, the prayers that held you when you didn't even know that you needed holding. See, that power deserves your honor. Let it be more than just flowers and cards. Let it be a turning point. To every mother here today, when you whether you have carried a child in your womb, your heart, or your arms. To the moms with the little ones tugging at your dress. To the moms with grown children making their own way in the world. To the foster moms, the adoptive moms, stepmoms, spiritual moms, even mentor moms. To the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, we say this from the bottom of our heart, thank you. Thank you for your prayers that were unanswered but never unspoken. For the meals cooked, the tears cried, and the late-night rides and the early morning wake-ups. For the dreams that you postponed, the strength you summoned, the love you gave without ever asking for it back. You, mothers, are a reflection of God's heart. You may not always feel seen, but he sees you. You may not always feel like you're doing enough, but you've done more than enough. When you worry that if your kids will not remember what you gave, but heaven remembers. Every act of love, every sacrifice, every whispered prayer. Again, in Proverbs 31:28, it says, her children rise up and call her blessed. So today we rise, we call you blessed. And we celebrate your power, your love, and your strength. Amen. Let's finish in prayer.